Yo, 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 guys, what is up? And welcome back to another episode of the Warriors Invitational. It's your boy Gotham, my boys Matt and Chuck. Gentlemen, welcome back. Last week of the NBA regular season, man. How are we doing, boys?
What a sprint, man. It's been
We made it. We made it. It's
it's
here.
been crazy. We're here and it doesn't feel like it's gonna stop anytime soon. Tied with four other teams with the
Oh,
exact
man.
record right now.
This
It's
is
crazy, dude.
it's what they call a nice little clusterfuck going on here in the Western Conference. Matt, how you doing, man?
Yeah, not much different, man. It's a fucking sprint. You haven't seen that graphic, I'm sure. It's like six different teams can get seeds 3 through 8 right now with the way things are going. It's just nuts. Um, but you know what's cool, man? There's a lot of good basketball right now. There's a lot of good games on. It's like again, one of the great complaints and the reason we'll complain about the NBA season is that it sucks towards the end, right? Because teams kind of know where they're at, whether that's the lottery or whether they're a solidified playoff team. This is the exact fucking opposite of that. The tanking teams can't even fucking tank right. So this is great.
Some some may say this is meaningful basketball. One being Steph Curry.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but dude, yeah, it's that time of year, man. You guys said it right. They're pretty much. I mean, technically the two seeds still in play, but it's looking pretty much locked up. 3 through 8, very much in limbo with even yeah, 9, 10, 11 games. It's kind of a mid-off to see who's gonna get there in the end. But Warriors obviously, man, sitting in that clusterfuck with 32 losses, 46 and 32, tied with the Nuggets, Clippers, T-Wolves, Grizzlies, making up that 4 through 8 spot. And tough loss yesterday. The Warriors play the Rockets Sunday night after a brutal stretch, but to kind of take in the bigger picture, look at it. I think the last time we talked was before the start of the road trip. The Warriors kicked that road trip off two just brutal losses without Steph. Games, every single one of these are going to count, and so those two hurt for sure. But they went into that stretch after that with Steph coming back, and they played Memphis. LA, Denver, Houston, and three of those on the road. Denver and LA, or LA Denver is a back-to-back. And the Warriors came out of that gauntlet 3-1, 5-1 after the two losses and Steph was out. So for the most part, like riding the ship. Obviously, as you guys said, it's been a marathon of seasons. Warriors felt like they've had kind of three different seasons so far play out. So Matt, talk to me, man. Kick us off here. Like, walk us through last night's loss. Obviously, it was tough. Playing the Rockets could have ended, a good stretch here. But to walk me through just the last like four games and your thoughts there to where we're at.
Man, well, I just kind of can't believe. I'm glad you pointed out they went 3-0 in that first stretch, right? Memphis, LA, Denver, Steph averaging like 40 fucking 5 in that stretch. Uh I think you guys, I don't need to tell you this. I'm still somewhat dubious of this team at times, but that stretch just kind of shows you this team taking this shit seriously, right? They want that week off really bad, and they should. And I think they had the most game from it of any team in the West. I thought that back to back win versus Denver was just insane. Like it was the first. I mean, I've always kind of thought that in a playoff series, the Warriors are actually a worse matchup for Denver than I think they've ever really gotten credit for, and that's just because Steph and Jokic are such polar opposites. And we kind of saw um, in that game Jokic looked tired, and I'm not on the Jokic is out of shape train ever. That guy is probably like one of the five best conditioned athletes in the world. He's 7'1", 300 whatever pounds, and like he carries the heaviest load in the league probably. Like the Denver team sucks without him. It's incredible the number of guys they have on the floor when he's not out there that you're just so comfortable with as a fan of the other team. But with that being said, the Warriors, in my opinion, kind of got the monkey off their back with that win. Right? I think it was 8 straight. Granted, no Murray, but I'm sorry, it's not the same level as Westbrook. But Murray is one of those guys, in my opinion, where in a playoff series, Steve Kerr's thrilled. Right? And on the Westbrook note, that team kind of needs Russell Westbrook, and no team is happier to play a team that needs Russell Westbrook than the Warriors. Um, so what a stretch. I, of course, was still pretty pissed off last night at that Rockets game. I also couldn't believe my eyes the first 10 minutes. I felt like Timothy Radcliffe. I wanted to put the poison fruit in the blender, man. I was done.
Great. I
Okay.
know.
But oh, it was great, man. But I mean, listen, you're not going to win a game where Steph scores. What do you have? 3 points last night?
3 points.
Yeah. I do want to get you guys' thoughts here in a sec, because I know one of the common themes since, geez, probably since the Warriors kind of got back in the legit playoff hunt is like, hey, Houston's a good team to play, right? Houston's a good team to play because they're young, they're experienced, their offensive identity is not really established. I also want to just say I hate Şengün. Now I'm out on him forever as of that matchup. He is, yeah, him and Dylan Brooks are a good fit. Is all I'm going to say. Okay. But with that all being said, I don't want the Rockets are actually towards the top of teams I don't want to play. And here's why. We just watched this team grab and beat the shit out of Steph for 48 minutes. And that was not even a playoff game. And those whistles aren't getting any more generous come playoff time for Steph, especially. And I think the Warriors win that series, but if it's a first round series, for example, I think they're gassed. I think they're really gassed. They're really, really athletic, physical team between Thompson, Eason, Brooks, even Freddie Van Vliet's getting in on the holding. So I'm out. I'm out of the Rockets. That's kind of my takeaway. I'm out of the Rockets. I feel good about playing both the Nuggets and the Lakers, though, which is not a thing I would have said even 2 weeks ago. Chuck?
I see where you're coming from, and yeah, it is frustrating watching that game back and being like, oh wow, so the whole defensive game plan was just to hug Steph while he's off the ball and don't let him get free, which, works if it's not going to get called. And they do, you know, dubiously legal defense aside, they do have the kind of defensive personnel that can hang really well with Steph. We know that Dylan has given him, a fair amount of trouble in the past. Fred's a good matchup. Amen Thompson is unbelievable.
And
Um,
Chuck, can you go for a second, man? Because that guy is, I have never seen a defender stick with Steph like Thompson did all night long.
no, he's like doing it like he's kind of like flirting versus harassment or like watching him play defense. I'm like, oh my God, this is like the beautiful game. Like he's moving his feet. He's just all over the place. He's top blocking him. And then I'm watching Dylan just like grab onto Steph and just like hug him and drag around with him. And I'm just like, oh, you donkey. Like just get away from him. Um, but he's incredible. He presents a ton of matchup problems. There was one play where he like came and like closed down a shooter and then like recovered all the way to the paint and then like deflected the lob pass to like the wide open guy in the middle of the paint. Um, he's unbelievable. He does like genuinely worry me more than any other Rocket because I'm like, I don't know if we have an answer for him. The first time we played these Rockets after we got Jimmy, they were running the small ball and they're just like, hey, we're either gonna, double team Şengün, get the ball out of his hands and recover, or we're just going to let these other guys go 1v1 because we don't really trust them to beat us. And I think they generally play this team well. I think the flip side to what you said, Matt, is Steph scored 3 points. That's not going to happen. Jimmy only 13, only took 7 shots. That's rough. Like, yeah, Pods and healed and GP had good like role player games. But yeah, if it takes Steph scoring 3 points, Draymond scoring two, let's see the total, 18 points out of their big three, just to win by 10 in a game where the Warriors were never really like out of it. They were just a couple shots away and they just couldn't find those shots. Um, I'm still not too worried about this Houston team in general compared to the other teams in the West. And like you said, with this other stretch, 3-4, including, 3 games in 4 nights, two on the road, including two against Denver and LA, who I think have been your biggest like head grab matchup where you're just like, oh God, not these guys again, to shake them off in pretty convincing fashion, where you saw sustainable good results out of this team. You saw good game plans. Um, I think that this is still an overwhelming positive run. I did crack up at seeing our buddy Sam Esfandiari over at the Light Years podcast. He says the Warriors are the only team in the league who could beat Memphis, Denver, and LA in 4 nights. But then the obituaries are getting written because they lost to the Rockets on the sixth night. And I was just like, yeah, that kind of sums it up. Like would 4-0 be great? Sure. But, they're an old team. They are going to run out of their legs now and then. And, when it comes to playoffs and you've got everyone's on the same defined rest schedule, I still buy these guys up against these Rockets.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of hitting it, are you guys worried about Jimmy at all? The slow offensive late.
No, it's playoff Jimmy for a reason, man. It's coming. I have full faith. We've kind of seen it in spurts. Yesterday would have been a great day to kind of have a little bit of that, especially with Steph having 3 points. But Jimmy Butler's, I mean, one of those guys that like he took an 8 seed to the finals. Like we saw him in that bubble championship run. Like the guy's built for the moment. So I'm not worried about it until we see like some struggle maybe in a playoff series. But on the larger part for like the last couple games, like these guys were the 11th seed, man. Like if you told us going in the final week of the season that they would be in play for the third seed and quite possibly if they went 4-0 to finish it off would end up at 50 wins, be a top four seed, and have a home court playoff series. That's where they're at right now. Like that's the situation. So like last night's loss sucks. Like you never want to lose to the Rockets, especially when last night you really could have been like separated yourself from the pack a little bit going into the last four. You've got three super winnable games. You would have been, a game up on everybody else, kind of in that four spot control. Not that you don't control your destiny more, but even more so in control of your destiny. So that was the only reason like the loss really concerned me. But in terms of like matching up with the Rockets, like they still don't scare me, man. Like they can't score in the half court, and that's not something that's going to change in the playoffs. They don't have a guy like Jalen Green. Yeah, he can get buckets, but other than that, like they've got just like kind of fringe scorers all around. Dylan Brooks he was like 5 for 7 or some shit last night, started off. These guys are not, they can't sustainably keep up with the Warriors offensively. Steph, even if he goes for even like 12 last night, we probably win that game. So like you're not gonna get that level of Steph performance in the playoffs. Jimmy as well. I think even the role players, like there was just missing a lot of shots yesterday. Turnovers as well. So like things the Warriors more so beat themselves than like I mean Houston credit, like you double team a dude all fucking game, like yeah, you held him to 3 points, like good stuff, man. Like there's the other guys got to step up there to beat you, but they've shown that they can do that for the most part. Pods, Moody, Gee, JK's honestly had a couple of decent games here now, so like you're starting to see kind of what this team looks like from a depth standpoint if they get into a series. Like I think you guys said it, that stretch of Memphis, Denver, and LA, like obviously Steph went off, but other guys, Pods stepped up big. Jimmy had a nice game, pretty much against all three. Draymond's been fantastic, looking like defensive player of the year. So like you're seeing what this team looks like at their best. And Chuck, you said it, man. Like once you get to the playoffs, get that same rest schedule, you've got a day or two between games. This team looks good when they're able to kind of get that kind of time off, and it's always been about getting to a playoff series. You like your chances in a playoff series against anybody out west. I don't think anybody's kind of shown themselves to be a tougher matchup. I think it's going to be like it's going to come down to wire. I don't know about if seeding even makes a difference outside of just staying out of the plan and getting that extra rest. Because even if you told me that the Warriors are going in as a 7 or 8 seed, like you like their chances. I mean, you hate to see OKC first round, but it is what it is. I think they still match up well with them. So overall, last night not the worst, but you know, it is what it is. But talking about Pods, man, like he's like, and just in terms of like the rest of the team, because we know what we're gonna get with Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond, but like the ceiling of this team really rests on the shoulders of guys like Moody, Pods, JK, Gee, Post, guys who've been kind of carving out those rotation pieces, stepping up in big games. Pods back to back big games against the Nuggets and the Lakers. So talk to me about what you guys are seeing with those guys, man. Let's start with you, Chuck. Like is this sustainable from what we're seeing? Like Pods having 27, 28 a night. Like obviously that's a product of getting some good shots, hitting them, but is that level of consistency like is this something we can rely on in the playoffs? And if so, does that mean that this team has what it takes to kind of go on a nice long run and potentially win another ring?
Yeah, it's crazy because I don't know how much they can rely on it. But when you look at this recent stretch after he came back from his injury, He's played 10 games. Let's see, we had a 5 game absence in there when he got hurt in that Brooklyn game and had to come out early. Across these 10 games, he's scoring 18 a game. He's also, grabbing 6 boards, 3 assists. But you love to see that he's hitting 51% of his threes and he's taking 7.5 per game. So like the guy's just letting it go. Like we saw it against that Lakers game. His shooting completely transformed him. Um, but it's also the consistency. It's not up and down. He scored double digits in 9 of those 10 games. So that I think is what really impresses me is that if you can rely on this guy to give you, points in the mid-teens, when you start doing the math game of how this playoff rotation is going to shake out, Steph in the playoffs, he's giving you 25 to 30. Jimmy's going to be in a pretty similar range when he levels up in the playoffs. And pretty much what you're doing from there is you're trying to figure out, okay, we need to get another like 50 to 60 points from the rest of this team. And we trust this defense. Like you said, just going back to that Houston matchup in the game last night, Houston scored 82 points per 100 possessions in half court. They were worse than the Warriors in the half court. So you trust this defense. And if you're thinking, all right, we need to go out, we need to get a good 110, and we like our chances, then Pods becomes a huge part of that equation. You look like a guy like Moses, who has been unbelievable since he came in to the starting group full time. And then, yeah, Gary Payton like was really stepping up and hitting a lot of shots. He was killing in transition and in the short roll. And, Quentin Post, we know he's going to take his shots. We know he can make them. And, then once you start like stacking up all of these more sure things where it's like, okay, Steph and Jimmy feel like sure things right now. Pods feels like he's going to get you double digits. Moses feels like he's going to get you double digits. Then you start having a little more fun with the variability. You're like, hey, well, maybe we drop Buddy into this equation. And if Buddy has a game like he had last night with the starters playing up to their normal potential, there's not many teams that are going to be able to handle the Warriors when they get the hot shooting from some of these end of the bench guys. So that I think has really stood out to me is these guys all fit the defensive infrastructure they've already created, and they just bring a lot of night to night consistency. And I'm really excited to see how that shakes out. But it does feel like at the very least, is this maybe this isn't some big leap for Pods that's going to be like, oh well, what we're seeing is the future. But at the very least, the guy's on a hot stretch, and you might as well have your guys on hot streaks going into the playoffs. What do you think, Matt?
So I'm a general like listen for the last 2 years. I've been pretty skeptical of Pod's 3-point shooting whenever he has these stretches. But there is just something to confidence and believing in your jumper that really just led itself to success in this league, right? And we kind of forget this guy was like literally the best 3-point shooter in college basketball before he got drafted. I don't know. I don't know, but I if it's Chuck, I like your point about getting where you're getting other points from. I think you probably count 50 from Jimmy and Steph, right? Can you get 40 from Kaminga and Pods and Moody every night? I think so. I do think so. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think this is a guy who he's not blessed with athleticism, right? So if that jumper's falling, I think Chuck, you might have said this recently, but or you just maybe we all just saw it. But this guy is like he's really playing smart right now, right? And he's leveraging the fact that he's hitting shots. When he's catching the ball, he's already on the move half the time. He's someone to me where listen, he's I don't know if he's compared himself or we've kind of done this for him because of the left-handed thing, but he's compared himself to Brunson a lot. And we've seen a few plays over the last week where guys have got great feet too. Once he gets down low, he really, really utilizes pivot. His step through has been good since he was a rookie, like early on in his rookie year. He's only a second year player, obviously, but I kind of buy him as at the very least. I think he's getting you 14, 16 points a game in the playoffs right now. And that's people might say, what? He's averaging, whatever, 21 of the last five or whatever it is. It's hard. Getting 16 points a game as a second year player in the playoff is legit. And if he does that, I'm like, that's a huge win. I want to get you guys' thoughts on Kuminga in a sec because I have some thoughts. But before we get there, can I just share that I'm kind of fucking in on Buddy Hield right now? He's doing some dumb shit, and he has one or two plays a game where I'm like, he fits right in with Steph and Draymond as far as being like, I don't know what the hell you're doing, and he doesn't have the luxury of being a Hall of Famer. Um, I just think they're going to need him I shouldn't say in on, but I think they're going to need him in the playoffs, man. I think he's going to have to play. And for the last month or so, I've been really big on the idea that this is an 8-man rotation with their starting group plus Peyton, Post, and Kaminga, and maybe Looney, right? I think Buddy Hield's going to play. Last night, I don't know how often he's going to play, to be clear, but I think Buddy Hield's going to have a fucking moment in the playoffs for the Warriors. Um, Chuck, you made a face which tells me, pardon me, you think that was the stupidest fucking thing you've heard since Josh, I believe, talked about LeBron not having enough help. But
Oh God. Dude,
we're not going
don't
there.
even get me started on the
Hey,
Eberle shit, or we'll be here all night.
well, we're bringing back tweet of the week next week, guys. So
Yeah,
maybe we'll get him on
There's
there.
special
some good
But
ones.
segment.
There's some good ones
hey,
floating
but
around.
we hate the tweet, not the tweeter. Okay, let's just make sure that's the game plan for now at least. Um,
Yeah,
but
yeah, that's tweets for. But
Rough.
I think that's a good point, though. I mean, like, my thing with the thing with this team right now is like I think everybody's gonna have to have their moment. You know, like this isn't just gonna be like Steph, Jimmy, like, and it's. I mean, it is gonna be Steph and Jimmy like carrying you guys through a playoff run. But to win these games, these series, you're gonna need Pods, Moody, JK, Kuming, or Buddy, like GP. These guys are gonna have to step up. Especially those three young guys. I think Buddy on the Buddy part. He's just your ultimate X factor. Like if Buddy's hitting shots, they're not losing games. Like yesterday was just an
Except for
anomaly.
yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday's an anomaly when Steph has three, but for the most part, like if Buddy's hitting shots, this team's really hard to beat because he's microwave in the sense like if he'll get you 20 and you're gonna be up.
He also has the why does Steve Kerr like this guy, Brad Cockamaker aura.
Oh man,
Like
like man,
he's gonna
yesterday some of Buddy's stuff, man. Like I forgot which game. I think it was a Denver game when Steph like took him aside and he was just like, "Dude, what the actual fuck are you doing? Give me the goddamn basketball." Which rightfully so, and I think everybody's had their kind of relationship with Buddy, like love hate this year, I think. And look, I think it for the Warriors, the biggest key is going to be consistency. Like they need Pods, Moody, JK to be like you guys said, like where are you getting the rest of your points from? Like, I think 40 points for those three is a fair point. Like, you're going to need that in some capacity with those three guys, whether that's, Pods 30 ball here or there, Moody hot night, JK, figuring it out. Like, whatever that looks like, whoever it is, those three have to average 40, I think, for this team to be confident and win because they have the defense, I think. Like we've seen this as a large sample size before Jimmy after Jimmy. They've been a pretty good defensive team all year. Now they're looking like whatever they are, top. I'm pretty sure they're top five post trade defensively. So you know what you're getting on the defensive end.
best
That's
defense since getting Jimmy.
wow. Okay, number one. That is definitely top five. These guys like they have a championship level defense. So you're confident enough on that side of the ball. It is can you make exploit these matchups as we've seen all these series go along, man. It's not about like who has the best first or second, you know, option. And I mean it comes down to that at the end, but it's who's stepping up in the playoffs and who's helping you have that Lonnie Walker moment in game four, like the Lakers had against us in 23. Like it's going to be those types of guys that are going to kind of be the difference. And so far, what I've been seeing from these guys, man, Pods, Moody, JK, GP, like it's possible. I think Pods, Matt, you brought it up. Like it's really just a decision making. I think in the past, Pods has taken some bad shots, especially like one that comes to my mind was this year, last year, Steph was on a heater. Pods takes like a transition three, and they end up losing the game. Not because of that, but it was just a bad shot. Right now, like you're confident at least, even when he gets hot, like he's not settling for a three every time. Like we're seeing him drive to the basket. He's been pump faking a lot. He's been finishing well. So on the Pods thing, I think that yeah, he's taking that leap, if you want to call it that, or I think it's really just development. Like we thought was that this going to be this type of guy after his rookie season. And so he's kind of played into that this year. But overall, man, like the team just looks like everybody's got a role, and I think that's what makes this way more easier to stomach of like a deeper playoff run more than 2022 because 2022 going into it like you were confident enough, like Steph, Clay, Draymond could find the magic, and they had the right role players. But you kind of needed an elevation from Wiggins and banking on Poole being that guy. The floor for this team with Steph and Jimmy, like you have a pretty solid floor in terms of playoff guys that you can depend on Draymond as well. So like now it's about can the rest of these guys step into the roles that they've already shown that they can play. So I think that this last stretch kind of showed it. And we'll see how the last four shake out because the magic number is 50, man. If you can get to 50 wins, you guarantee that you're out of the play-in. Before we get into predictions, Matt, I know you had a thought on JK as well, so let's hit that.
Well, I think we should all share a little bit, man, just because I think he's been so polarizing of late and for good reason. And he, like, again, he had that really, yeah, that Kings game he had was mostly garbage time that people were really thrilled about. He had a really bad 3, 4, 5 games afterwards. And then, against the Lakers, he might have had his best game as a Warrior in some ways. Like, it was the most like impactful winning game I think he's played. He's grabbing rebounds. It actually made me again feel a little uncomfortable about playing the Lakers because he's somebody who should be able to take advantage of the fact that like Luca might actually be the worst on-ball defender I've seen in a long time, man. Like you can just tell whenever he had a Jimmy or JK saw Luca in front of them, it was like Luca might as well have gotten out the fucking welcome wagon, man, and driven him out there. It was crazy. But no, I just think he's been polarizing, man. I can't like yesterday he had so many moments where I was like, you are it was just Wiseman-esque almost, just like lost. And he had some moments too where he's just like he's grabbing rebounds. He was really working on defense at certain points. I think he's really I think he's gotten from Jimmy a little bit is like he wants to get to the line more now. He's always been good at that. But there's still this difference of like you can just see JK shooting to get fouled and not shooting to score. When Jimmy gets fouled, he does, like he's still trying to put the ball in the basket. You know what I mean? He might be trying to draw contact, but Jimmy's always trying to put the ball in the rack. And JK, I don't think is doing that a whole lot of yet. So I'm just curious to get where you guys at now because I see a guy who at moments can be, I don't know, a physically impactful player because he's a freak of nature. But I'm still concerned about a lot of the decision making, the scoring. It seems like almost gone at certain points since pre-injury. But what do you guys, Chuck? I guess you first. What are you thinking, man?
Yeah, I mean the scoring has just been really inconsistent. Like you said, he did play really well in that Lakers game. He had some good matchups. He really took Luka to task. But as you pointed out, he plays a lot to get fouled, and he doesn't get fouled. Those last three games, so, he exited early in that San Antonio game, and then wasn't in for the Memphis game. Um, he took 5 free throws against the Lakers. He didn't take a free throw in either of their last two games. And he hasn't been hitting the shots really. He's not hitting them from deep. He hasn't been great as a decision maker still. He still turns the ball over. So I thought it was really funny where I had one like when they announced he was going to be active for the Lakers game, I like quote tweeted the news and I said if he plays more than 5 minutes, I'm going to freak out. And then I had a bunch of people in my replies after the game being like, oh, bet you regret that one, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, all right, yeah, he played a good game. Let's go see him do it again. And he didn't. Like, he's just a really inconsistent guy. So, you know, sure, like if they're in a kind of matchup they have with the Lakers where it's like, oh, well, they have a bunch of guys who can't really score that play in their lineup, so you can hide him. And then you have guys like Luca where it's like, oh, if he gets those matchups, he can hunt him and go get good shots. Then yeah, makes a lot of sense. But a team like Houston, where it's like they got good defenders all over the board. They got a lot of different guys who can hurt you in different ways. They have physical, tough role players. That's not a series for him. So I still think I just fall on like he's extremely matchup based right now, and I don't think he's really a guy you can trust for a heavy burden come playoff time. But I don't know. What do you see out of him, Gotham?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there, Chuck. Like, I still think it is matchup based for me with JK, but I don't know if they have the luxury to, play around with that because you're gonna need him. Like you need the upside that he brings. But right now, like, there's times where I want Gee out there over JK, and I don't think that's even like up for debate. Like, Gee just fits, man. Like, it's hard because. I get the JK like you said like he has one good game and all of a sudden you're like okay this is starting to work and like okay this is how it can look and look well but then he just he's not consistent enough so like the leash has to be short on him like like you said if it's working then obviously it elevates the ceiling and look, if the Warriors want to win a championship this year, like it's going to be hard for them to do that if JK doesn't step into some sort of like third, fourth guy type of deal. Third, fourth, fifth guy if you want to throw in Moody's in there as well. But like they need these young guys. And as much as I love Gee and I think Gee fits in really well, like the upside JK brings, like you're gonna need it. So yeah,
Can I push back on that, man? So we hear that a lot right now, like JK's X Factor.
I mean I think X Factor in the sense of like you don't have anybody else that can do what JK does. You know, you don't have a guy that can play over the rim, can, he's as athletic as he is. So my thing is like he's gonna be a piece that you need. I don't agree with the fact of him like just gonna turn on and like become this like insane scorer or like unlock everything in a playoff series. Like I think out of everybody on the team, I trust him the least in a playoff series. But I also
Number
know I
number
also
14. No, it's actually serious. I think that's actually not. That's probably not stupid at all. I'm serious.
no,
Is he
I
like
mean
behind?
who
Is he behind? Like, I'm not joking. I'm being serious. Trust as far as like making a good decision on the ball. JK or Pat Spencer, Gotham, go.
Oh shit, Pat Spencer, dude. Like he's literally Matt 2.0. But like I'm
Hey,
thinking about like Looney or like GP or
sure.
like
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 guys who
guys
might
that
play.
guys
Sure,
that
sure,
are gonna
sure.
be in the rotation at
Yeah.
some point. Like JK's got to be at the bottom of the list in terms of who you trust to
I
make the
kind of on
decision.
that note, I'm just to agree with you, man. I kind of see him as like a I'm like I kind of in the same vein as Buddy right now. Where like, I think
Yeah,
he's gonna have a
exactly. Like
moment.
I
I
don't
think he's gonna
trust
have to have a
I
moment.
probably trust
Yeah,
Kuminga over Buddy, maybe just because Buddy's
yeah.
also so fucking volatile. But Buddy's ceiling, at least we've seen it. Like we're like, hey, if it works, the guy can go off and get you like 25, 30 on just an insane shooting night. JK, we don't have that. Like it's more so like the way I see JK fitting in is being a defensive hound, like getting rebounds and then just like hitting an open three if you have it, or just like dunker spot, go finish. Like it's not going to be go create your own offense, like get to the line as much as that should be like the case. Like I just don't trust him enough offensively, skill wise to like you said, he goes up to get fouled and not to score. And I don't see that changing in a playoff series. So but I do think that they're gonna need his archetype and like if it fits like the role that like not to say I know there was a lot of talk of like Amen Thompson and JK on the Rockets. There's some bullshit going on there, but like Amen Thompson like physical attributes, I think he's definitely a more athletic version, but JK is like that's our version of Amen Thompson, but he's got to play that role. Like that's the role he's got to play for this team with the guys that we have around him. We haven't seen it yet. He's got the physical attributes to do it, so that we'll see. But they're gonna need JK in some semblance. Otherwise, this team is just like you're relying a lot on your main guys, which again they can bring it home. I'm not saying it's out of the question, but it makes it a lot easier if JK is able to get into a rhythm and find his role on this team. Because yeah,
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 no,
good
I'm
news,
with you.
yes.
fire. Well, that's awesome. Great to hear.
Doesn't happen often. Let's go.
Let's go. But yeah, man, 4-0 left, 4 games left, but I guess
Hey, what is your prediction,
I gave
Gotham?
away my prediction right there. But nice little Freudian slip. But 4 games left. Warriors 46 and 32, along with pretty much everybody else. 50 wins, man. That's the magic number. If you can go 4-0, you avoid the play-in. You're in some form or fashion of most likely not three, but 4, 5 or 6. Um, Denver's got some tough games. They've got the Timberwolves, or not the Timberwolves. They got the Grizzlies, and there's the teams play each other. I know Memphis plays Minnesota, I think one more time. Or Memphis plays Denver. So there's going to be losses there. But the Warriors got the Suns tomorrow night. It sounds like KD's out as well. The Spurs back home, who've been playing pretty decent ball with some of their guys out. And you've got the Blazers in Portland before a absolute just masterclass of a matchup against Kawhi.
What a great last game of the year, man.
What just a fantastic way to end the season. In all likelihood, could mean the difference between being the play-in and not. I think the Warriors, do the Clippers have the tiebreaker if we win that game? How does that
Here's
work?
a good rule of thumb for anybody in the Warriors conference or division is the Warriors do not have a tiebreaker.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
we're obliterated in the division.
nice.
Yep.
So all the ones that you need, they don't have. But hey. You got a chance to add one more win or one more loss to Clippers tally. So where are you guys at, man? Obviously, like 4-0, that has to happen. But when we start talking about just like matchups and where like 4-0 gets them, where's ideal matchup? Where's an ideal landing spot? And I guess prediction for where the Warriors end up at the end of next week or this week.
Man, I mean, we already saw KD. I forget how many games he's missed in a row, but KD out again for tomorrow. Suns have lost six in a row. I think they're 2.5 back of the play-in, so obviously, not happening. Um, Plus, I think Kings are not winning tonight, but it's still it's not looking good for them. That's got to be a win. Portland also right behind them. They're, having a little fun end of season run. Denny Avdia's playing some good ball. Got to be a win. Spurs, I think we beat them by 42 last time we played them. I think that was the game where they scored like 140 something and just couldn't miss a shot. So got to run them out of the building. At the very least, you have to be 3-0 going into this LA matchup if you want to stay above the play-in. I think I saw that of the four teams that are tied, the Warriors have the second best odds of retaining one of the top two spots. Um, and then when you lump Denver into that, they're pretty equal with Denver because Denver's really been struggling. Their defense doesn't look good, and they've got a tough last three games. So it can go a lot of ways, but I think it comes down to, I mean, when you look to at this matchup, because as you said before, Clippers have the tiebreaker. It feels almost destined that they go in either like that they go in tied or a game ahead, where it's just like this is a win or you know winner of their head.
It's basically a playing game at that point.
It's pretty much going to be. I mean, the good news is that the Clippers have, yes, they have San Antonio and Sacramento, but they also have a matchup against Houston. Houston may still have something to play for. So, and that's the second game of a back-to-back. So some fingers crossed there that that could be the one that trips them up. And if it does trip them up, maybe if they drop one of these other games, Warriors could come out ahead in it. But it's got to be 4-0. My prediction is I think that they're going to come up short in that last game, end up at 49. Um, but with the tough like end of season that the others have, that could
Gotham's
still be good
fucking
enough.
Gotham's veins bulging out his fucking neck right now, dude.
Can't
I
believe
know
that.
he's losing it, but
Can't believe that.
I mean, still as things stand, like they have the tiebreakers on Minnesota and Memphis. So I think if you go 3-1, uh, odds are
And
pretty
Minnesota and
good.
Memphis play each other, so one of them's
Yeah,
getting locked
exactly.
right there.
Yeah, so like one of them has to drop it, and then Minnesota also has to play Milwaukee. Memphis has to play Denver. So they're losable games in this stretch. So I think even if you end up going 3-1 and you drop that Clippers game, like it kind of feels like right now where it's Clippers, Warriors, Timberwolves, Grizzlies. That kind of feels like it's going to end up being the order, and I think they end up as the sixth seed. And then the real question becomes: does LA do any moving, or is that the destined matchup against the Lakers in the first round? But we'll see. But yeah, I think that's what we're locking in is 3-1, just short of 50 wins, and they end up with the sixth seed.
Chuck, that's my kind of take, man. Listen, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but predicting this team goes undefeated for any stretch has probably never actually worked for me. So I was really tempted to say 3-1. I'm gonna say 3-1. They beat the Clippers. Okay, I don't know what they're gonna lose. Um, Expect the unexpected. They might blow it to San Antonio. Might blow it to Portland. Chucky pointed out Portland's been like one of the 10 best teams in the West for like a month now. I'm pretty sure. Um, or eight best teams in the West. Geez, not 10. Who gives a shit about 10? But listen, yeah, they at this point, I don't really know. We're not gonna know what we want to happen until probably the Clippers game. Honestly, by that point, that game I can't imagine that game not being a make or break moment. And I also, again, just to reiterate, Chuck, what you kind of said, man, every single one of Memphis, Denver, Minnesota uh, played each other at least one time in that stretch, which is again, advantageous. So if they take care of business like they should, the team should be the sixth seed. As far as what I want to happen, listen, man, I just can't do a playing game. And I don't think this team should have anything in mind other than getting Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond a full 6, 7 days off before shit hits the fan. But it's gonna be a big week. I'm going 3-1. This is I think a 4-0 stretch sounds optimistic in a way that I'm not really capable of being. So 3-1, and that's what I'm rolling with. Gotham, where you at? Even though you already said it, but go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4-0, man. I said these guys could end up with 50 wins after the trade. It's in sight. I can't just back out from it now. I think it's possible, man. Like they three winnable games. You can just kind of tell that the sense of urgency is there. Like the last week kind of shows you that. Like they know they got to win these games. And hey, look, if you win four, you're out of the play-in. And I think that's their biggest concern. I don't think it really matters the matchup right now. Like just get there. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if Denver fell to the play-in game and we got like Clippers, Warriors 4-5. That wouldn't shock me. Denver's just not looking that good. I don't mind if Denver stays four, we get to five. I would not love to see Jokic in the playoff series, but I don't mind seeing this version of Denver in a playoff series. I think we can take them. I think we match up pretty well. The Clippers, man, that game could be, a potential first round matchup depending on everything shakes out. I'll be honest, man. They're the one team that I really think that I just don't want to see in a series. Out of all these teams, like Minnesota, Memphis, bank on kind of the OG factor, but Clippers, man. I don't know. Kawhi and James Harden, they look good. Norman Powell looking great.
Dude,
Like they're
Zubats
gonna.
Zubats eats these guys alive, man.
I'd love to see them play like OKC or somebody first round. I don't think they fall that low to be honest, but yeah, I think they're tied. I think the Clippers play the Rockets, you said, Chuck. I would not be shocked if they lost that one and then that last game of the season is for all the marbles. Sending them to the plane or maybe we go to the plane. I don't know how that works out. But yeah, like you said, I think schedule wise, it works out a lot where 7-8 might be one of Denver, Minnesota, Memphis, and they're kind of jockeying for that. So I think the Warriors had the margin of error, I guess, is one loss because somebody's going to get one in there. So if you can just stay above 33 is the most you can go. But I'll go 4-0, end it, go into the playoffs with the nice stretch. I mean, they're what, 21-5 since the trade deadline. Like they're playing some good ball, man. So it's not out of the question for them to end it with this kind of solid stretch and go into the playoffs ready to go, 1 week off. But we made it, boys. The regular season end is here. Before we get out of here, guys, anything coming up? Anything you guys got to shout out? Chuckster?
No, all good. You can always check my writing out on theswishtheory.com. Definitely going to have some stuff up. Whenever we have this playoff matchup decided, I'll have a little film breakdown on whoever we're facing off. Um, and also kicking off my new gig writing for the DraftKings network. So if you got any interest in that, go check it out there.
Let's get it. Keep following us, guys. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up for the playoffs. I'm gonna do guests, be consistent with this. So, fun stuff, man. This is the best part of the year loading up, and Warriors playoff basketball almost back. Till the next episode, guys.